It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.
Boom. Welcome to the Man in the Arena. Today we're drawing inspiration from a classic tale of idealism and grit. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, great old movie. You remember it. A lone, passionate man stepping into the political heart of America to stand up for what he believes is right. It's a timeless story about fighting for change in a system built on bureaucracy. Fast forward to today, and LifeVac is writing its own chapter in that story. Mr. Lee and LifeVac Goes to Washington. In just a couple of weeks, LifeVac is heading to Washington, D.C., not for a White House tour or a protest, but with purpose and innovation in hand. But for meetings with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, and the VA, Veterans Administration, to discuss how LifeVac can make a national and, let's say, worldwide impact. It's not Hollywood fiction. It's real lives, real solutions, and real policy on the table. LifeVac has now saved, count them, you guys know this, over 4,000 lives, just that were reported. So go to lifevac.net, use code MITA to get a discount and protect those you love. We explore what's at stake, what this trip means for public safety and innovation, and why LifeVac's journey to Washington might just be the start of something historic and, dare we say, Arthur Lee, epic.
Epic. I think it's a prime example of the Man in the Arena. You know, you watch, we watch the news and we watch Mr. Wonderful, and I'm grateful that he brings attention to it, but he doesn't follow up. You know, it's not like he says, next week I'm going to go do something about it. He just tells you how we're all getting screwed and, you know, goes on his way. Once again, I appreciate the fact he brings it to light, but in our show, it's about the real people and the real consequences. We had the jump rope lady on. What was her name?
Molly
Wentz.
Really? Anyway,
Metz.
Yeah, more about
Molly
that later.
Metz, METZ.
I mean, she was cool as hell. But,
Absolutely.
But the point was, I was doing a little math in my head between our knockoffs and hers. It's probably 120 U.S. jobs that were lost. And once again, it's not that we can't make it. It's not that it costs more. It's just that it just gets stolen and we get put out of work. But well, I think you got Mr. 3000, right? He's coming up, and
So,
I think it's kind of a cool shift. We get him on early in the show.
changing things up a little bit, keeping everybody on their toes, including Bobby. Keep him on his toes. Ordinarily, we hear from Mr. 3000 at the end of the show, but why not? Now that we've passed 4,000 lives saved worldwide, mix it up a little bit and introduce to you, the nation, LifeVac Nation, Mr. 3000, Ray Priebe.
Good evening, men in the arena. How are we doing on this fine day?
What's up, Mr. 3000?
Again,
Why am I 3,000? Well, let's tell the
Yes.
story real quick.
Let's
Rick
remind
loves
everyone.
to do this. Why am I 3,000? I saved my little girl, Maya, number 3,000, the 3,000 save, reported save for LifeVac on a Florida road while driving home from a birthday party. And now, folks, we are over 4,000 saves. And it was just, and again, here's a little numbers game for you. 197 days ago, I saved my daughter with LifeVac. 197 days later, 1,000 saves in 197 days. Just
That's always right, the numbers. I love
Yes,
when
trying
you
to
do
figure
that.
stuff out.
Yeah.
absolutely unbelievable. So, Arthur, God bless you. God bless this device. God bless everybody at LifeVac and everybody that has a hand in this. There are so many people worldwide that are part of LifeVac and spreading the word, and just hats off to all of you, because this is going to get bigger. There's going to come a time when we do 5,000 in 1 year.
Yeah, baby.
Yes.
Well said. And you mentioned international, from a garage in Massapequa and the brain of Arthur Lee to over 30 countries saving a life.
Oh, this
That
morning
is
was
LifeVac.
crazy. We had did you get the scoop on this morning, Ray? How many countries we had this morning?
I did not get that.
Was it International Day?
We had.
Oh, give it to me. What do we got?
I woke up to Canada, UK, and Australia,
Wow.
and then we had
Wow.
today. So we had.
See,
I think we had 10
UK
today.
UK is well established. The Bannigan family brought early, and including the first save ever
Yeah.
with LifeVac in 2016 in a retirement home, assisted living
Yeah.
facility. So, but some of these other countries, interesting. I heard Iceland with a
Yeah.
Costco.
Yeah.
In a Costco, didn't know Costco was in, but any Costco
Well,
warehouse you
there's
go into
anything in
worldwide,
Iceland.
yeah. Or Iceland isn't in play for
Bad.
US.
We're not, are we buying Iceland?
We should.
First day.
Anything with a land.
Why not?
Greenland, Iceland.
Anything is possible these days, guys. Anything is possible. But without further ado, why don't we let Bobby roll that beautiful footage?
Yeah, baby.
Here we go. We get a weekly count. From Priebe, live save.
24, another one already.
2,421 children, 4,024 total. So we smashed right through the 4,000 lives. We were
Just
about a
this
week.
week alone, 41 saves since May 2nd. 41 saves. Just unbelievable numbers. And they're going to get bigger and better each and every day that we go. So, and again, 200 days, we have 1,023 saves in 200 days.
Wow.
It's absolutely amazing. Since October 20th, since my little girl, 200 days, 1,023 saves. It's
Wow.
it's almost uncomprehendable how fast this is growing. It's just,
It's nice to have
amazing.
amazing, overwhelming good news.
Yeah.
Like we're amazed, we're overwhelmed with the amount of good news, with the amount of lives saved. So that's cool.
And there's a new pope, but this
Yeah,
is more
And
important.
the Pope, that's
Yeah.
good too.
And the Pope,
break it.
absolutely.
I think we're
Well,
going to be on sooner than we are normally for a taped show going out on the weekend into LA, Houston, Orlando, and here in the great state of New York. But we just learned today, and it's not going to be news in a week or so, but new Pope.
Oh yeah.
Ray, what do you think?
First American Pope.
Yeah, life's
It's
good.
definitely a big change. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. I think it will. I think it's going to be good.
I like doing the weather at the beginning of the show.
You like this portion?
Like weather's usually at the end of the show.
Yeah.
We're doing it at the beginning.
Yeah.
News
So
and
Ray, you
sports
got,
and weather.
you got
to
your
follow.
highlight there, buddy?
I got an awesome highlight. This happens to be number 4,000. So this
How
is the
cool.
fourth.
Oh,
3,000 is
Is
telling about
telling us the
4,000
story,
saved.
and this is an interesting story.
Yeah.
This is an interesting story. So here we go. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's worth every bit of it. A 94-year-old male in Oregon choked on steak and potatoes. The Heimlich was performed by a caregiver, but was unsuccessful. LifeVac was utilized 4 times, dislodging the obstruction. His color from blue came back immediately, and he was breathing well. Here's the details from the caregiver on the device. I'm a caregiver for this 95-year-old wife who has dementia. Just 2 weeks ago, the family hired 2 caregivers to take over when I leave. Yesterday, when I left, the other home care aide was in the house. The gentleman started choking. I was still in the driveway, and she came running out to my car saying, "Mr. P is choking," not to be confused with me. Thank God it wasn't me. But here we go. I had previously bought several LifeVacs and recommended that the family purchase one as well. I ran back into the house, grabbed their unit, and administered it 4 times. A large piece of steak and potato came right out.
That's
That night, Mr. P sent me a beautiful text. "Thank you for saving my life.
oh,
I'm going to sit in my recliner and read a book and not work tonight." He still works at 94 years old every night.
And knows how to text.
yeah.
Exactly.
This
Pretty
guy's
impressive.
all right.
Steak and potatoes, my kind of guy.
Steak and potatoes too. This is our guy.
That's what keeps him going.
Yep.
And I understand from the depiction or the telling of the story that the wife, now she has dementia, and
Yep.
as a husband, I can only
Relate.
appreciate this part or relate to the part where she just continued with the meal, like nothing was happening.
Yep, she did. That was one of the details where, as he's choking, she just continued eating, not recognizing the urgency of the
Think
situation.
how horrible it would have been to lose him, and when she needs him most, and he's courageous enough to be there for her as she goes into the darkness, and that's what a real man does. That's what a husband does, and we saved him, and that's a beautiful thing. And they got it because of her.
Mm.
So there's another beautiful Godwink for 4,000. We got Ray from 3,000,
You do.
and we got this beautiful story.
What is your
of-
1,000 to 2,000
really
stories?
is-
We should go look them up. I'm serious.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Documentary written all over it.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, I will get those details from Donna, and that will be
Yeah.
our next
Oh,
week's
yeah,
show.
we outsource that to Ray. Get to
Wow.
work,
Well,
Ray.
let's get back to Rick being able to relate to that. So Cecilia, we just watch
Yeah,
you.
we
We
got-
just
oh,
watch
Wow,
you die.
let's not. We're passing aspersions, and oddly enough, we're out of time. So, Ray, thank you so much. You've been listening to Ray Priebe, Mr. 3000. We thank you so much, and we're going to be back with Arthur Reed, Pat O'Rourke. We're going to get TJ Douglas out here. Oh,
Yeah.
Ray, for God's sakes,
Finish
yes,
this
we
up,
got to
Ray.
make.
Hey, don't cut me off yet. I
No.
got to give my final words, my words of wisdom here. LifeVac, far better to have it and never need it than to need it and not have it. True peace of mind. The life you save could be your own. God bless and have a great evening.
Ah,
Booyah.
you're the
Awesome.
best, Ray. Thanks,
Yeah.
pal.
Thanks
All
for
right.
reminding me on that. And we're going to be back with more Man in the Arena after this message.
She started to choke on a piece of candy.
She wasn't breathing.
Then Ray reached for the LifeVac and it saved her.
She could have easily died that day. A LifeVac saved her life. What I would say is don't need a LifeVac and not have it. Have a LifeVac and hopefully never need it.
Recently, the American Red Cross has added anti-choking devices as an option when standard protocol fails or is not feasible.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-543-3822.
Discussing weekend plans, and we're back on the Man in the Arena.
Well, weekend playing soccer.
It's a very
LifeVac
of course,
Tomcats.
It's very important to talk
How
about
fun
these
was
things.
that, though? Did you have fun?
I had a great time,
blast.
yes.
Yeah, it was fun.
I thought the
I
kids would be a little
love
more
the
skilled
kids.
at the halftime shootout.
Yeah.
It's massive
Oh my
people for
goodness,
crying out
yeah,
loud.
we have some work to do.
Wow, shows you where we
Get
have
us
to
some
these
snipers.
kids
Yeah,
back
come
out.
on.
So we've been talking about, well, we talked to Ray Priebe, but on tonight's episode of The Man in the Arena, we're talking about LifeVac going to Washington and taking on a number of departments.
Well, we've taken on the world in this thing for the last 13 years, and as you know, our show grows and we get input from Mr. Wonderful and Fox on this dilemma, but we're the guys in the arena. Like before the break, I said, okay, that's 100 jobs between us and Molly, and we should have her back on. She knows a lot more about the depth of the problem. You know?
Creator of her own jump rope,
Yeah.
but horrible story. Great story of coming up with this product and doing very well. And she had employed many folks in the
60
country,
people.
and it was all taken away by a portion of our government that's not doing the right thing.
Well, but that's why we're in the arena, and we're going to Washington. We're going to go meet the patent office, and we're going to meet ICE to talk about now. And the Veterans Administration is huge, which we'll talk about with CJ. But the real key to why I believe, one, we have to do it. You know, it's not for us. They're selling dangerous medical device. We met with the Balance of Nature guys. Same thing. They get knocked off, and there's who knows what's in that stuff. You know, so I think if we were to eat the elephant, what if we got illegal products taken down, right? Let's start there, and then we could work into, you know, patent infringement and you know, copyright and all these other horrible things. But I think that the simplest way to make it black and white is Amazon has to stop selling illegal Chinese products. They're against
Let's
the
start
law,
there.
right?
Yep.
So to me, that should be 20 minutes with some guy going like this on the computer. Boink, 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 boink.
Okay,
It's
that's
illegal.
done. Right.
It's illegal. So we don't have to fight about patent. I don't have to fight about copyright. I don't have to fight about trademark. they have the ability to say that's your problem.
Hmm.
But it's a bigger problem. And I don't think the awareness is about how Amazon created this huge problem.
You know,
right?
too bad it's not Elon Musk behind Amazon and it's Bezos, because someone like Elon, I think, would do the right
Oh,
thing.
I think so too. But I'm not going to, you know
Yeah.
what? I need to sit with Bezos. Give me 10 minutes. I
Bobby?
don't care. I'll meet him on the yacht.
Bobby,
He's got
next
a nice
week-
yacht. I promise.
Can we reach out to
We
Jeff
have a
Bezos,
nice
please?
meeting on his yacht.
Set
We
that
have a
up for
good
next
time.
Thursday.
We discuss the problems at Amazon on his yacht, on his plane. I don't care.
Which
The
yacht?
spaceship.
Which yacht?
Yeah.
But
But-
here's the thing, that I'm not even blaming him. Like, do they know how bad this is? And I was just thinking about this on the way here. Since they don't follow any rules, or there's no accountability, right? They could kill someone. What are you gonna do? Sue them? That the commercial on the hose guy saying, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But I wonder if Amazon is getting stuck a lot too, where they make a bunch of stuff because it's very cannibalistic,
Mhm.
right? You make the product, you put your energy into it, you get it successful, they jump in. Well, they basically are killing the host, because eventually you can't market and you can't sell it and you go off the market. Now the marketing's gone, so the sales drop. China doesn't really care because they just steal the next thing, right? But does Amazon get stuck with inventory? Does Amazon have collection problems? They may have a problem too, which would certainly help.
Right. And we promote our website to avoid some of this for the folks out there listening and want to protect their family with the original LifeVac. We also are available, but it's more risky for someone to get a LifeVac, for a family to get their LifeVac when they go to, out of habit or just what they would normally do in a shopping experience, go to Amazon.
Well, a lot of now with the marketing, they go there because they see us on a commercial or on Facebook, or they see a life saved with LifeVac, and then they see another product and it's cheaper, right? But so they'll switch it and buy that. Now the problem is that's not regulated. We've bought millions of them. They fall apart. They have glue. Lenny bought one. It's like this contraption, looks like a bazooka. It's ridiculous, but that's the cannibalization, right? We cannot continue to pay our FDA, be FDA compliant, have liability insurance, do testing, and monitor our sales and our successes, and market when you go to Amazon. Because if you go to Amazon, buy a LifeVac, life's good, right? We do that. We sell quite a bit.
What percentage do you think?
It's like 50-50 almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a person going to Amazon trying to get a LifeVac, it's a 50% chance that you're not going to get what you want to buy. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's our sales about 50%, our website 50% Amazon. It's way better, meaning but the problem is it used to be you couldn't tell, right? Now you can kind of tell, right? We've got
If you're getting a fake.
Yeah, you're buying a LifeVac or a VitalVac or SchmuckVac or JerkVac.
Yeah, the SchmuckVac I never cared for.
No, it's really not good. Would you go with the SchmuckVac?
It's a horrible
the
name.
whole point is you buy a fake Rolex on 23rd Street, it falls apart. It's just a watch. It was a knockoff. You buy a fake one. Someone dies. Someone chokes to death because it's a piece of junk. I mean, you got to look at it that way.
Well, and that's why my thought is the man in the arena, and we go to see these offices to try and get help, is to use law, right? We'll start with the law, and then we could get into bigger protections and making an American patent worth something again, because the problem is it's kind of worthless.
We've talked about this before. The patent that it was a proud moment. You described it as a proud moment because we grow up.
Walter Mitty dude.
And then when you found out, number one, that it was worthless, but also the frustration that you must have experienced when somebody else, number one, got a patent for your same product. There could have been a search done, which took 5 minutes, and it just wasn't done.
Well,
and also the length of time. I mean, it's frustration upon frustration.
How deep is the problem is what we're going to persevere to find out. But I mean, this show is holding us accountable, right? We talked about it. Now we're doing something. When we come back, we're going to tell people what happened, you know? And I do believe that Mr. Wonderful took a jerk back and said, this thing is on Amazon and it's illegal. not in general terms of they steal our intellectual property. Then you go back and do your job and get your paycheck. And all of us people, me and Molly and everyone else that's affected by this, we're in the battle. So we're going to go take the battle. And like I said, if I made, a sunglass holder, yeah, it is what it is. But one, these things will kill you. And two, somebody's got to fight. Someone's got to stand up and get their butt kicked and go down there and bring this to light and deal with this problem.
Yeah.
Not just say, well, they steal our intellectual property to the tune of $2 billion. Back to you, Fred. Like, what the hell does that do?
Just makes us feel bad.
Go in, punch people in the face, see what happens.
Molly and her story, when you hear it, it's almost because it was a jump rope. It was almost one of those things where you go, oh, okay, well, they stole a jump rope. But when you hear about the lives that were impacted, her time, effort, her life,
money, $500,000 she's in, and get it taken away.
And she had the courage to take it all the way to the end. We say, maybe if I fought long and hard enough, and at the end they went, nah, we don't think so.
Invalidated. Not only are you not successful in your argument, we're going to invalidate your patent. Yeah. So penalized for trying to have the government do the right thing, and we're going to meet, among others, the mission to Washington, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, different from the board that she talked about. What do you hope? What's the optimism versus skepticism about getting something done?
The two things. One is I would love to say, how did this person get the exact patent? I would love someone to tell me how that happened.
Just tell.
Two, I would like to know that, make them more aware. Do they know that since Amazon came into fruition, then that's what's killed the patent for 20 years. It worked, right? Because if you made it, I could sue you. You're here, me. We go to court. We fight it out. China invalidated that. So maybe there's got to be a different. Look, times change, right? I had an 8-track. We don't have that anymore. So maybe the patent office has to.
We got a stack of them. Are you kidding?
Pat, you got to call the kids.
Fly like an eagle.
Oh, Billy Joe, glass houses all the way to Lake George, 7 hours. But it's a communication and saying, are you aware that why it's no good anymore? Why we're all saying it's worthless? And to see if there's a plan or a way to work together to make it useful. Right, because it's eventually the long-term effect. Who's going to make anything? Because you kill yourself and then it gets stolen.
Yeah. What I'm interested in hearing from you is, because you've met recently with Dr. Ben Carson and other things that come up in the conversation about LifeVac aren't intended to be political or divisive.
No,
but everything in Washington seems to be.
Yeah.
But I think the overall atmosphere, do you agree, is more favorable to having common sense?
I think so. And I think that's why it's a good time to do it. He testified before the committee yesterday. It was amazing. That guy's amazing. Dr. Ben Carson. And he was these are not topics that people want to hear, but he addressed the culture of poverty, the fact that, we have broken families, but they're kind of rewarded indirectly with our system. And one of his big philosophies, which I agree, is the power of the family. That we're losing dads, and he addressed it with such eloquence and common sense that if you're incentivized, like if you and I are married, we get less money than if I'm single. So
and more kids.
Yeah, and we've almost created a system that is anti. What we know,
not almost, we have for the last 3 decades.
Yeah. But it was when he said it, I was like, did we took this long to figure that out? And he's brilliant, and I believe he is courageous enough to go and try and change things. But to your point, maybe we can get common sense back in. Maybe we can address the fact that it's a different world, that the patent office got to get up to speed with this. Look, this is all working together. Like Bezos was sitting here in the head of the patent office, I don't think we'd be fighting.
No.
And Amazon's not going to lose money, right? So
let's fix it. Right?
Yeah,
That should be the mentality.
And it's not even like a miffed guy. It's more teamwork, right? Dealing with the FDA is kind of scary, right? Because they kind of tell you everything, and I think we need to change our relationship with government where we actually talk and work together. So it's not like that's the government. Oh God, run, hide. They're gonna shut us down. They're gonna attack us. They're gonna put us out of business. It should be more, what's up?
Let's fix it.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I want to talk more about the departments individually that LifeVac will be visiting. We've drawn the comparison, or at least I did in the beginning, about Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, classic movie, now LifeVac. And it's interesting because this one life-saving product, over 4,000 lives saved worldwide, touches on so many different departments, or is affected by so many different departments and legislations. And what's the word that they always talk about? Removing some of the bureaucracy or the regulations.
Cutting the red tape.
Yeah. And just before the show, we talked to a woman who's, what was she working in?
She's working in the federal government.
She works.
We're talking to the audience for those of you listening at home.
Yeah.
It's packed house. So
no, but amazing connection. And it's just, I saw the light bulb go off in her head. She's like, she wasn't familiar, but then said, have you paid for this? What was the one department? Customs. Do you know anything about, and I'm asking on the spot, unscripted, customs? She said there was a simple thing, and then they will fight
for a couple $100 and they go out.
Oh yeah.
So
no, I know all about that, but once again, there's a lot of I did this. I was a man in the arena.
Still are.
Yeah, but the difference is, there's a lot of tricks to get around customs. You got to get on the list. You have to have the manufacturer so that you can, what to pull. They have like 15. It's in Chinese, and they also can miscode it, meaning they say they're bringing in a coat hanger and they're bringing in a medical device. It can be done, and that's part of what we're going to do with ICE, because once again, formulating this from the ground up, these are illegal, right? So I should be able to call the police, and they should go to Amazon and pull all this crap out. They should go with a trailer and dump it. It's against the law. I'm calling a cop. So it's not even, we're asking for enforcement. Not a rule,
follow the law,
not a thing. This is illegal. Enforce the law. Same with, and we'll meet with customs, but it's tricky because they're tricky, and they make it from different places, and they put different harmonized codes. So it's a lot to get to that point. But we're going to do it, and we can, if we can get on the list, like the list basically where you get inspected. It could help. It could help. But there's hundreds of them, so that's a tough one.
Yeah, everyone talks about whack-a-mole.
Well, whack-a-mole is Amazon. You whack them there, and once again, look, I'm an American. Compete. That's great. Go through the FDA. Make sure it's safe and effective. Make sure it's different than what we created. God bless you. I mean, the more we get out, the more lives we save. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be so upset if they wouldn't kill you and they made them good. Right? Mike Rowe said that's kind of common. I said it would be if they made it good enough that it wouldn't kill someone. There's one that'll kill you.
No bueno.
No bueno.
You're listening to Arthur Lee, Pat O'Rourke.
That's when you think, too. That's when you think, it's a life and death thing. You hope they listen to you in Washington.
Well, that's why I got to try.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a fire hose that they were like, we got a cheaper one, and it's not putting out fires and houses are burning and people are dying, they would change it.
Right.
But, you hear about this in the military, too, where sometimes they don't use the best things. They're trying to save money. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, well, they get knocked off too,
right?
I mean, we get inferior products that are in there, and which is life,
and then people die.
I guess in a way of, I don't know why I was tasked with this impossible thing to save 4,000 lives, and maybe I'm tasked to go fight this battle, but to bring it back to the man in the arena, we're going to report what happened, and Molly was very clear on what happened. I've never heard that before in my life.
The PTAB, the Patent Trial Arbitration Board. That's actually what
I have heard. They still are intellectual property. Back to you, Bill. What the hell good does that do?
Right.
So let's go and maybe
round
get
10,
arrested.
Ding ding.
Yeah, we're going to swing.
Let's go take them on.
We're going to come back and tell people what happened.
LifeVac goes to Washington. We'll be back after this message.
Protect your family. Buy LifeVac now.
Thank you, Dad.
That was us over 10 years ago.
Now LifeVac is responsible for saving over 4,000 lives from choking.
In the time it takes you to pick up the phone and call, another life could be saved.
The LifeVac saved my life in 1 to 2 seconds.
Protecting families has always been our mission. I'm sure you love your family like I love my daughter. Do us all a favor and get your own LifeVac now.
Go to lifevac.net or call 877-LifeVac. Order now.
Yep.
Hey, and we're back on The Man in the Arena. I'm Rick Fatscher, and have been throughout the show.
Show in the city.
I'm talking to Arthur Lee, and he's telling me about Pat O'Rourke doing a show in the city, and I want to learn so much more about it.
So do I.
Pat, what are you doing?
The 23rd. It's your friend
May 23rd.
No, 22nd. It's a Thursday night.
22nd.
Your friend Mazzilli.
Oh,
His club down on 23rd Street.
yeah,
Lee
Hofstra.
Mazzilli from the Mets?
No,
Different.
actually a soccer player.
Matt Mazzilli.
Yeah.
Great goalkeeper. I think it's his brother that owns the comedy shop, but
yeah. No, it's not the comedy shop. It's
yeah,
the name will come to me, but I'm doing it.
All right, you got to tell us more. I want to go.
more about that. And
You're gonna be
now,
in Washington, saving lives.
yes, we're going to be in Washington.
Sorry, I can't go to Washington.
And you know
folks.
who's
I
going to
gotta
be
go
with
see
us?
Pat.
You know who's going to be with us?
8 minutes.
The LifeVac contingent in Washington. We're going to be joined by CJ Douglas,
Yes, my man, pots and pans.
Colonel Christopher Douglas. We call him CJ. Joins us remotely from upstate New York. CJ, how are you tonight?
Hey, great to see you all.
Great
I'm
to-
doing well.
Well, nice to see you too, man. Thank you.
So-
We're talking now about our meeting at the VA.
Sure, absolutely. We've mentioned it before in the beginning, but just as a reminder for folks just tuning in or want to be refreshed, we're going to Washington. LifeVac is going to Washington, taking it to the streets. We're meeting potentially with ICE. We're meeting with Patent Office and, of course, the VA. And Colonel Douglas was brought on to be a special envoy
Well, it's a mission.
with LifeVac.
you know?
Absolutely
So
a mission.
We brought on a hero to take on a mission. So
This
that's
is the
what
guy you
we're on.
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was introduced to us and, lengthy introduction, but hey, this guy's a hero. What he's done for this country. And we're just blessed and honored to have you on our side. CJ.
And skilled with a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah.
Knows what he's
Can
doing.
rock a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah, we could use you at the soccer game.
Yeah, Rick
next
almost
week,
killed
right?
someone against the soccer game.
And Mike Singer wore a teddy bear on the roof. So we're not
CJ,
very
just
good.
put alleged in front of that. I was completely safe and within the guidelines. But when we had CJ involved in the t-shirt launching at Brian Kilmeade's live event in Jacksonville, Florida, I never felt, because there's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, but I never felt so at ease and safe about what we were doing.
Me neither. He was adjusting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had the guy. Hey, look, he's good at saving veterans and shooting a t-shirt cannon, man. We got the right guy.
We shut our eyes. Ready, fire, aim. Boom.
Well, CJ, you guys went down to Florida, right? And you made
Yep.
what was that? Fill people in on that a little bit.
Hey, so that was a meeting with the VA down in Florida with retired Marine Major General Hartzell and his chief of staff to talk with them about the why I got involved, and as far as assisting veterans based off of the conversations with you, Arthur, and the importance and really the overlooked veteran community. And I mean, he was ecstatic. He had his own personal story to share, which I know we're going to looking to cover at a later date. But he got it and was receptive, and so it was a great discussion. Rick did a fantastic job of working with,
Rick.
giving a demo and answering questions. But yeah, I mean, it was a great meeting.
Yeah,
Well, just a preface for people that are listening that a person in a wheelchair may have no chance in a choking emergency because there is no protocol. There's no Red Cross, no American Heart. Red Cross recently said suction is authorized for use when the Heimlich is not feasible. So
or it doesn't work, which
yeah,
we all know.
but I think and it goes back. I was on Laughter Saves Lives last week, and I remember wheeling the World War II guys down to the Laughter show, and that's when it hit me. And I combined that in my head with the tragedy in McDonald's where the guy in a wheelchair choked and no one did anything because they didn't know what to do.
Or the kid in the school bus.
Yeah,
in New
and
Jersey.
then I felt it was God when getting to know CJ with someone who's led these men. He's been with them. He's lost men. He's seen them injured. That this is a way to bring it to light, And we talk about it being an ADA violation, which it is, but that's not really the driving factor, right? Yes, the federal government should abide by the ADA, but if you boil it down, Man in the Arena, the World War II guy that I rolled down and told me the story, and CJ's stories about the men he served with, they deserve a chance in a choking emergency. And once again, this is not, a huge thing. Obey ADA, federal law, but who cares? Give an option. What's the big deal? So hopefully we're going down. Who we meeting with in Washington?
I think we're holding that for the next episode. But what I will say is
shark.
It's called the tease in the business.
We're not just going. Let's just say this: we're not going to Washington to meet with local.
Reverend Al Sharpton.
Is this like Trump? Something big's coming out. We're not going to tell you.
Well, we decided a while ago, and your direction was, last year it was, go over the top.
Yeah.
So Heidi has done, marvelous work in Orlando, VA, Albany, and she's doing continued work with the San Francisco. I think it's a simulation lab. But we thought, why not utilize some relationships and connections to go and get the endorsements of leadership in all of these departments and make connections. And most people, when they like Major General Hartzell, the light bulb goes off. He told us an emotional story that had both CJ and I almost in tears, totally unexpected, not of men that he served with, but of his son who suffered from a disability, had this near tragic choking event, and told us, read it from the book, and has a foundation. And he said that's his, besides the wonderful work he does in Florida VA, talked in very emotional terms about his mission is this son's foundation, Evan Hartzell Foundation. And CJ alluded to it, more to come, because although he's very busy, he has, Major General Hartzell had every intention of at some point sharing the story, because it's incredible. And he says, I think CJ said it before, I get it. So when we go to Washington together,
he gets it.
Yeah. We're not going down to, I think, as I said earlier, be involved in a protest or something. We're meeting with the leadership so that we can, when we go to all of these, I mean, this is a very small, passionate team that is taking on this monumental task of the world, everywhere where food is consumed. So again,
this is
so happy to have CJ
wink,
with us.
But CJ is a God wink too. We had to find we need a champion, right? And who could be a better champion? One, the federal government obeying federal law. Put that aside, these people gave their bodies for our country, right? So regardless of federal law, they deserve a chance, and they should not have nothing. It's not right.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
A real hero.
If you go back just in history, when you had President Lincoln say, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, more, up to date now, inclusive, of all of our veterans, to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for those who have served in our nation's military, and for their families, caregivers, and survivors. I mean, that's, the current vision of the VA. So when we talk about this, everything that you've said to this point goes right in line with that vision. So that's why it makes complete sense to bring this to the VA, to the why it's important to bring it to the VA, but also, Arthur, for your other, hey, let's, transition briefly, because it goes with what I'm saying as far as care for the veterans. The quality control, right? The patent process is there for a reason. It isn't just to protecting intellectual property. It's also, we're ensuring some level of quality control. So really this comes down to education, legislation, and enforcement. And education is so people understand why LifeVac is the tool of choice when it comes to saving lives.
I was thinking though too, along the Godwin, you're a military hero. These are military heroes that did this. But here's the thing where it's once again in my mind or my heart, they are once again saving our country, because if the military did it, right, and said, look, we these men and women deserve this. It's against an ADA violation. Everyone should take care of people with a disability. If they once again let us into battle, right? Because if the ADA did it, I mean, if the military did it, right, we cure that Lincoln quote that we are obligated as humans to make sure they're okay, and they gave for us. They could also lead the way, so that every school would now have an option for their children with disabilities. And it so aligns that once again our heroes are leading us into battle to do the right thing and to win. And this is not a 20-year thing. It's pretty simple. Yeah, it's a letter.
It can
saying,
be.
Get this.
Yeah,
and we're
should
good.
be. We're going to be right back with more of the Man in the Arena. We're talking to Arthur Lee, Pat O'Rourke, and of course CJ Douglas. We'll see you on the other side.
I was in the living room when I heard my son Carter, who was 2 at the time. I looked over and I saw him grabbing for his face and his throat. I grabbed the LifeVac. I put the mask on his face and placed push-pull. The LifeVac dislodged the ice cube from his airway and he started crying. The most amazing sound I've ever heard in my entire life. Please protect your family. Get a LifeVac.
Hey, we're back on the Man in the
I
Arena.
was right. Molly Metz is the jump roper. Thank you.
Molly Metz was the jump roper.
Thank you, Matt.
Fact checking.
Not
You
interrupt.
Have you been in touch
fact
with
check
her?
via email. Was that a horn? Was that a car horn we just heard?
That's pretty cool.
Big lunch. Sorry.
Pardon me. New sponsor.
Excuse me.
Zegrid.
Pardon me.
So I have been in touch via email, but we know that a lot of times we speak to guests on the Man in the Arena, the Woman in the Arena, and we know this isn't the last time. We are now connected with her, and we're going to be thinking about her and her
Do you
business
think
and
we
her
could have
issues.
back on next week?
I think so.
Yeah.
Talk to her
Talk to her
because
about it. That'd be
we
fascinating. Yeah.
Because I'm going to put together, we got the patent, we got the trademark, we got the veterans, and we have an outside shot at the Justice Department.
I would speak with her before you go. See if
That's
she-
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we'll do it live. I'll bring my folder for each one of these divisions, and we'll ask her advice. It'd be kind of cool.
Great idea.
Let's be transparent. That's a big thing nowadays.
Absolutely. Let's do transparency. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's a,
We can't make Gumby disappear
yeah,
anymore.
we're already diverse, right?
Yeah.
We're diverse.
Yeah.
We're diverse.
Gumby
Uh,
friendly.
We
Three
are
white guys.
joined, I think we're still joined by CJ Douglas, Colonel Christopher Douglas, Edmonton, New York, American hero, Purple Heart recipient, and he's joining us in our mission. LifeVac goes to Washington. Now, I wanted to hear from you. Of course, we're you and I targeting the Veterans Administration, but I wanted to hear about I was interested because ICE I saw on the things to do list when we go to Washington. Just thinking about the application, because it's unheard of that ICE would want to be prepared and be concerned about the safety of people that they were dealing with, right?
No, they don't want bad PR. Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, it's just, if something happens to one of them, they want to make sure we can do
That's
everything.
why I
we
say
can.
we got to remove some of these thought processes that make everything black
Political,
and
yeah.
black and white or one side versus the other. I don't think a choking victim has. Well, they certainly have religion.
Didn't they say CJ had some experience in international inbound? CJ, is that Rick told me briefly that you had some experience with import or monitoring that?
Well, certainly law enforcement. We talk
Law enforcement as far as a
Yeah.
narcotics investigator, but those kind of imports. But
yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
not that far different, pal.
Illegal import, illegal immigrant.
yeah. But as far as I'll have to check offline which discussion we were having so that it can refresh my memory. But with that, you're, as I was saying before, as far as education, legislation, and enforcement. The enforcement piece is really what you're looking at here is because there's already Well, there needs to be better legislation to ensure the quality control, so that in this case, like LifeVac which is the tool of choice, remains that. But then the enforcement, where ICE and others would be ensuring that these non-LifeVac versions that are not a preferred option don't get into the hands, and then don't fail at a time of crisis.
Well, there's more than one way to protect our country, right?
Look at our backdrop.
Now we're doing the news.
Hey, Comfy might disappear though.
It just switched.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's right. We're on radio.
On the Man in the Arena, we're flexible. And for those listening, whether you're in LA, Houston, Orlando, or New York, just to let you know, we are adapting. We're overcoming. We're dealing with a lack of a backdrop. We normally we do this show in front of the Hall of Saves, and we do it with the inspiration of the over 4,000 lives that have been saved with LifeVac. I'm going to take this opportunity to say, one second, CJ, go to lifevac.net. We've talked a lot about, listen, go to lifevac.net and use the code MITA. I know CJ has a code that he wants to promote, but for this purpose, MITA, get a discount, protect those you love, and get the original, because we talk a lot about avoiding the knockoffs. Somebody's getting a call. But CJ, I cut you off.
No, I'm glad you made that. You made that point. What I was just going to say was, I think, this and the gray screen we're now appearing is a good segue for chapter 17, right? I mean,
we're going to Sorry Can't Is a Lie?
Standing 8.
Wow.
Yeah,
right?
that's good. That's a good
listen,
analogy.
I'm glad you brought it up, and I refer back to that website, lifevac.net. Get this book. We usually talk about a chapter. Tonight we're going to talk about chapter 17. But Sorry Can't Is Alive, written by just the greatest guy ever, Mr. Arthur Lee. Mr. Arthur Lee wrote this book, Sorry Can't Is a Lie. So chapter 17.
And so the appropriate in the discussion of the patents, in the discussion of 4,000, the number, in the discussion of going down to the VA. I mean, and so it's, hey, when you get to quote Arthur, when you get hit or knocked down, you get up, continue to fight, take a pause, but at 8 you're still in it. Couldn't be more appropriate.
Chumbawamba.
Well, I think of your service to our country and some of the stories you tell about the men you're with, and it always reinvigorates my passion to do this for the veterans. And I think that, the people in the military truly understand the standing 8 count. You get knocked down, you get up, you breathe, you reformulate, you go again. And also the wingmen, that, these are not, and the VA has a problem. Back to you, Phil. These guys you serve with, you've seen what they have to go through. You've seen you told me stories of sleeping in the dirt and the explosions. And, God, man, how can we not take care of them? Right, CJ? I mean, you just feel it when we discuss this, when we say we have to persevere.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's very personal. I'm just gonna give a side shout out to the 1997 UK sensation reference that was made about get knocked down.
I get knocked down, but I had to get up again. You're never going to keep me down.
Chumbawamba, huh?
That's right. Chumbawamba.
Wow.
That's what I said.
He identified
That's a new
Chumbawamba.
theme song.
CJ,
That's a new theme song right there.
You want to keep me down.
Way to go, Pat.
There you go. Rick didn't know what I was talking about.
No, I know the band Chumbawamba. I know the song.
Wait, they have another song?
I was gonna say,
I didn't know that one.
Drinking the
When you
Night
got
Away.
their album?
Drinking the Night Away.
Same song.
Yeah, I know. I get knocked down. That was Pete Corwin's. We're pulling references out now. Getting away from Chumbawamba to one of our friends. I think it was his wedding song. Definitely, first time I heard it was
that's a good wedding.
It has reception. Yeah.
Were the police called to this wedding? Was it on an episode of Cops? Holy cow!
We already talked with Ray about the statistics around LifeVac and saving lives, but we should put somebody on or have someone on staff that looks up other facts about Chumbawamba, because I don't think that they played.
I think they're a one fact band. They had that song.
fact?
That's
CJ,
it.
look what you
Not
did
even one
to
hit.
us. You got us on a Chubba
Yeah.
Wubba.
Rick now thinks they're fascinating.
Is that
Chumba
really
Wumba.
the name of the band? Chubba Wubba?
It really is.
Tub Thumping, right? Tub Thumping is the name of the song. It's not I Get Knocked Down,
Yeah.
right?
It's Tub Thumping. It's Chumbawamba. Yeah. And I.
And 1997, is that correct?
Sharp as a
It's
whip.
97. Yeah. The UK sensation.
Went to
Yeah.
number one
War
on the UK charts,
hero
number 5 on
and
the American
Chubba
charts.
Wubba expert.
It's
What a
amazing.
title.
Went to 5 with a bullet. On the
No one
American
would
charts.
ever say he's not well rounded.
Yes.
No one. No one.
They.
I can listen to him talk all day. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
I
no.
love
We should just have him tell stories
Yes.
one day. We'll just sit here.
Yeah, remember when CJ was classified and
Couldn't
he was
talk.
bursting.
First 2 years,
bursting.
2 years we knew him, he couldn't talk. He was in the service still. But he was like, you could tell he was looking at you like, I want to talk. I want to tell you
know.
stories.
Hey, listen, we have about a minute left in this episode of Man in the Arena, and we're talking, of course, about LifeVac's mission to go down to Washington and get some SHIT done. Kick ass, take
We're gonna
names.
try.
But I want to get an update. How's Britt doing? Your son is serving. We can't say exactly where,
yeah.
but how's he doing?
He is doing well. Yep. He is. Hear from him periodically, and all is well.
Well, that's a good
And your
thing.
all-star,
Thank you.
and your all-star wife, Susan Douglas.
As well. She is. She remains the all-star, the behind the scenes. By the way, not to go back to a Chumba reference, but she did
Please
just send
do.
me a message. They had 28
We're
songs.
clamoring for it.
So
What's that?
28 songs. Chumbawamba.
They have 20.
Well,
Well, you know what?
They had to put
You're,
out an album.
Yeah, but they're all versions of that song. There's a slow
why-
version.
here's
I
why-
get knocked down.
Yes.
There's a Frank
Same song
Sinatra version.
28 times.
I get knocked down, baby.
You're welcome. When you wake up tomorrow morning and you can't get this out of your head,
Oh, yeah, it's
Yes,
already
yes, that's
stopped.
definitely one of those songs.
It
We're
might be-
sorry,
it-
listening public.
Listen,
to
it might be our
the
theme song.
infiltration now.
It might be the theme song. LifeVac goes to Washington. Thank you, CJ.
Yes,
thank you,
thank
Pat
you.
O'Rourke. Thanks again, Arthur Lee, for inventing this wonderful product. And we'll see you next week
Thank you, CJ.
in the arena.
CJ, you're the best.
Take us
Good
away,
seeing you.
Mike Rowe.
It's no joke when you choke, so get LifeVac and live. Without breath, there'll be death. So get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live. Get LifeVac and live.
LifeVac and live.